Now we're going to introduce a segment called School Health in Action. So throughout the day, we'll be hearing from real schools and districts that are working to apply what we're hearing about in their actual buildings and their school districts. And our first presentation will be from Naches Middle School, and they will describe their work to increase breakfast participation. So if I could have Naches come join us up here. For the PowerPoint.
So we're making sure that we're ready for the student panels.
Good morning. My name is Randy Rent. I'm the Assistant Principal and Athletic Director at Naches Valley Middle School. I'm also the Assistant Principal at the Intermediate School across the street. And I'm also currently serving as a District Food Service Director. So, as you can see, with most small school districts, Naches Valley gets a lot of bang for their buck. And my business cards look really cool with all those titles on it, if you can read a number 2 font. I'd like to introduce the rest of our panel that we brought today for our team. This is Mrs. Bunny Wilson. She's a longtime PE teacher and also our Fuel Up to Play 60 advisor. On the end is Miss Barbie Mullinex. She is our cafe area manager, which is kind of a strange title, but basically she is in charge of our satellite kitchen at the middle school, and her staff feed 1,000 of our 1,440 students a day. And so that satellites out to 2 other schools. And we've also brought some student ambassadors for our Fuel Up to Play 60 program, Mrs. Tawny Sparks and Ms. Whitney Fuller. And Mrs. Sparks is the one that created this slide presentation for today. As an administrator in this whole process with the Fuel Up to Play 60 movement, my job is pretty easy. They come up with me with the students, and Mrs. Wilson is the advisor to just bounce off ideas off me. And of course, as the administrator, I'm trying to envision impending disaster from that decision. But then we just pull a trigger on that. And that makes my job pretty easy, because if I ever have to have a meeting with the assistant principal and the athletic director and the district food service director, it's me in my office talking to myself. So it's a pretty easy decision to make. We already talked about the fact that we only have 15 minutes to try to explain all the amazing things that we're doing at our school with the Fuel Up to Play 60 movement. And on the trip over here, we just talked about it's going to be nearly impossible to condense that into 15 minutes, but we're going to try to give it a go.
So telling our story, the budget cuts. So Fuel Up to Play 60 came out about 4 years ago. Hey, a free starter kit. Okay, I'm in. Posters, NFL, and I went for the grant. Okay, I needed some PE equipment, so I went that route. I encourage all of you to contact the Washington Dairy Council. Go to the Fuel Up to Play 60 website. It is so flexible. It works with anything you're wanting to try, and that's just jump in and go, and it's a fun ride. I got called in the office, a parent and student, why am I getting a B in PE? And how come we don't have a salad bar at our school? I had launched the Fuel Up to Play 60 program with the health teacher, and we had some students and some prizes at the end of the year for going on and tracking their activity and their eating habits. But with this student, I went, there's a way. I remember seeing a play called Salad Bar on the website, so let's investigate that. And our principal had the student go talk to our food service person. And from that success of the Salad Bar, and I'll let you, well, I'll hand it over in a second. Thinking about kids running around the school of food, our administrators, okay, since you had success with the salad bar, we'll let you try this breakfast thing. But if it goes south, we are canceling it right away. Okay, so that's our focus, is to tell you some about our grab-and-go breakfast.
Check, yeah, there.
Okay, the mic is on. Okay, so I had Bunny came to me, and she asked me, well, what can we do to get breakfast to the kids that they could take to their classrooms? And so I thought, well, let's think about this. They were using just regular trays that we wash in the washing machine, in the dishwasher. And I'm going, well, if we served them in another kind of container that they could easily take down to their classrooms and dispose of them, we could do it. And it has been just a really easy transfer in the kitchen part of it. We have gone from probably about 45 for breakfast at just our school, at just the middle school, to over 100, probably reaching up to about 130 a day. And that's a lot more students. We have about 420 kids at our school, and so a lot of kids are getting breakfast in the kitchen that way. We've gone from simpler fruits to, we do whole fruits a lot because that travels down the hallways easier and less of a mess. But I've got to say that it is a team effort, and I think just approaching the teachers, the custodians, food service, and myself, I like to be flexible, and it has just gone really well. It's been a big increase, and the students just love it, and I think the girls can talk about that.
We've asked all of our grades how much they like grab-and-go breakfast, and some fifth graders said it doesn't waste your time in the morning, so you can get to class quicker. It's quick and easy, and sixth graders said people are actually eating breakfast, and it's in travel packs, so it's easy and disposable. Seventh graders said students are doing better in school. Students can stay focused better on a full stomach, and if you're late to school, you can just grab your breakfast and go to class, so you have no problem waiting. Eighth graders said they're not tardy as much, and there's always a breakfast garbage can in the hallways, and it's easy cleanup. Any questions about how we did our grab-and-go breakfast, and any questions about how the students perform better or anything like that? Yeah?
What kind of breakfast items are you serving?
Well, like she said, we serve apples and stuff like that. Anything else?
We really didn't change our breakfast menu very much. We serve everything from like the breakfast pizza, burritos, yogurt. They even are able to take cereal to their room, and if they don't want to do that, we offer a cereal bar that they can take. It really, the menu items have really not changed. And of course, everybody gets a milk, and that is a big thing with our dairy council here.
My favorite is pancake and sausage on a stick. That's some grab and go right there. That's pretty
perfect.
easy.
So once we got the administrator's permission, we surveyed the entire school. Do you eat breakfast? We didn't know if we had a need or not. And we let the students rate the food that was being served. We let them have input about what else would you like to eat. And at that point, a lot of our students were eating at home. And those that even had free or reduced breakfast weren't eating. Why not? So we asked all sorts of questions, and we did provide a handout, so that might be coming to you, about the steps we took and about our breakfast survey. But the big reasons the kids said why they didn't eat breakfast at school: they didn't have time, they got yelled at in the cafeteria to hurry up, hurry up, hurry up to get to class on time, and that their friends couldn't come in the cafeteria with them. Only the people that were eating breakfast could be in there. So this grab and go solved a lot of those. We have a large busing district, and in the winter sometimes the buses are late due to snow and adverse travel conditions, and that solved that piece. The teachers had buy-in because, again, the salad bar was so successful. They were open to this idea, and we put power in the teacher's hands. You can say no, kids can't come into your class with food. And the choir teacher said, yeah, we're all about singing, not eating, so they got to figure out something else. And they did. She was just up front with them. You need to eat at home, or get this figured out. We have had some bumps in the road that if the teacher said, yes, you can eat in here, they can also say, ooh, you were really messy, let's try it again next week. And we, this year, this is our second year of doing that, have an entire classroom, after trying it again with them, the entire classroom, they can sit in the cafeteria and eat, but they cannot have grab and go. It was, yeah. So we learned that don't let a few people ruin it for a lot. so that there's power in the teacher's hands, there's responsibility in the students' hands. It is a team effort, as Barbie was saying.
And I've never
We have
found an
two
apple or an
questions.
orange in a single urinal in my bathrooms either. That was my big concern with those. As a district, one of the things that we did to increase breakfast consumption throughout the K-12 spectrum is that first year I took over, it was last year as the food service director, I found out and discovered there was no breakfast program at the high school whatsoever, which seemed kind of silly to me. So trying to get that instilled basically was just the addition of one extra half hour of labor for the kitchen staff that was up there to help produce those meals. And it was one of those things that didn't catch on very fast. I mean, literally the first couple of weeks, 15 kids a day were basically eating breakfast because they just weren't used to having it. But now what we're finding is, those numbers are increasing considerably because the middle school kids that are moving up to the high school are used to having breakfast offered to them every day. And so now that's starting to pick up. So that's why we managed to increase our breakfast consumption last year by 28%. And so we were pretty proud of those numbers, and we're pretty excited about seeing what we got going on for this year too. So
we had two more questions over at this table here, so I'm going to let them both ask their questions, and then maybe you could address them at one time.
Did you find any need to increase custodial services? And if so, how did you manage that?
You want to talk about that, Donna?
Oh, well, that's pretty easy. We have special trash cans for the grab-and-go breakfast, and we have students from one of the classes, the Fuel Up to Play 60 class, is it, that they take turns and they go pick up the garbage and they throw it away. So the custodians don't have the extra garbage to take care of. So another part of the teamwork.
You want to talk about your kitchen TAs? Kitchen TAs?
Oh, yeah, another thing that has helped us is the kitchen TAs. We have students come in the kitchen because it is extra work because there's more food to prepare. We have students come in and they help us prepare and help us serve the breakfast too. So more teamwork.
We were asked to address, did we have a need? We didn't realize that our need turned out to be the student voice. In retrospect, they wanted to be able to say what food and when they eat, and that's with the salad bar and the grab and go. Our goal, it's kind of underlying a health promoting school. Some of the slides you've seen, we have a school-wide walkathon now, so it's a healthy fundraiser. We've built I think that's the next one, a Gaga pit. It's a camp game. And so recess,
we can't even say enough about the phenomenon of this game. It's just a ridiculously simple game for everyone to play, but so energetic. And what I enjoy about it is that normal kids that just don't really get involved with any kind of like sports or activities out there on the recess playground get in that pit and are masters at this game. It's just fascinating to watch them play. It's just a very interesting game.
So some of the outcomes we've had is we're here today. We increased our breakfast consumption tremendously. We were able to have the Dairy Council gave us an assembly with Seahawks. It keeps snowballing positively, and it's so flexible. And we had one class try to promote the breakfast eating. Out of 20 kids, only 4 wanted to make a poster, but they were able to make posters and promote the breakfast program, and we will have these in the younger schools also.
Bunny, we have one more question over
Okay.
here.
I was wondering if this program is just for kids that qualify for free and reduced, and for the other kids, is there a cost involved?
Yeah, there still is a cost paid for breakfast. I think it's $1.10 for those students. But reduced students that normally have to pay 40 cents for a lunch do get a free breakfast. Currently, our school district's at 44% free and reduced lunch. So we were expecting to have more kids take advantage of that opportunity if they knew it was available for them. But that's a hard message. I was one of those kids when I grew up. Except back in those days when you got in lunch line, you had a different colored ticket. So the stigma was already there that, I'm completely different because, we're in a poverty situation. But so if we can get that message out to kids so they're not embarrassed to know that, they're getting a freebie or a handout or something like that, it's hard to do without kind of, how middle school kids can be, don't we? A little bit about me all the time, so.
It may be too early for you to know this, but have you been able to tie this change to academic success in any way?
You know, that question came up on a survey, and Bunny asked me about that too, and I'm not a statistician, but I just really don't know how you could apply that and collect that data. I mean, what would be your baseline? Everybody for the rest of the year don't eat breakfast so we can get some test scores, and then turn around, and I just don't know scientifically how you could put a statistic on that.
When I talk about academic success, it could be a decline in the number of disciplinary actions that you've had to take.
Saw that on a survey too.
And so, but these are things that I think you can actually look at to really, and attendance.
Right. And I'm just kind of curious how to put those all together, and my principal and I have discussed how to collect that data, and it would be interesting. It looks like our time is about up, so.
And in concluding, things that we had learned, trusting the students and trusting the staff, the administration, it's been a home run because that trust was there, and let us try these things. Sustainable projects. I started out wanting PE equipment, and it turned into 4 major school-wide, available to all students, things that we're doing. The adult involvement. Kids are there doing the work, but they need an adult to help them over the hurdles and through the process of the adult world and their system that's so important. It is, but novelty, kids grab at the new thing. So that's what's been nice about the grab and go. I mean, the fuel up to play 60, and it's splash and pizzazz. And letting your students promote, them having the voice and listening to their perspective and their needs, and letting them be drivers in the process. So thank you for your time.
Yes, we are very excited to be here. Thank you very much.